Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of your favorite midday NFL show surrounding the Buffalo Bills. That is damn right. You saw that thumbnail. You read that damn title correctly. Game of the year is going to happen on Sunday. Perhaps a Super Bowl preview, as many are coming to believe. Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, and the anxiety is at an all-time high. I think that I speak for everybody that we have had this game circled on our calendar at the beginning of the season. Obviously, this Buffalo Bills team has caught a stride that a lot of us weren't anticipating. I mean, starting off 10-3 was not on anybody's bingo card at the beginning of the season. With all of the departures we had, this Buffalo Bills team has been exceeding expectations, and this Detroit Lions team picked up exactly where they left off last year. Two absolute powerhouses, and I can't wait to unpack everything on today's episode. Let me tell you what. Give me a damn Go Bills in the chat. Give me a damn Go Bills in the chat. Spam Go Bills in the chat right now. We got to build up this energy. We got to build up this damn energy, folks, because we have quite a bit to discuss. I can't wait to dive into it. This is obviously brought to you by BetUS. BetUS is hands down the number one sports book on the face of the planet, folks. Currently matching 150% of your first deposit all the way up to $2,000. As long as you use code YouTube150 when you go to their website, and 125% of your second and your third. As you can see, this game's about as close as humanly possible. The Detroit Lions are at -1 favorites. For those of you that are unfamiliar with how sports books operate, typically 3 points are automatically gifted to the home team if they feel like the game is going to be relatively even. But as we can see, it's only a 1-point differential. So these sports books are absolutely terrified. They don't know who's going to win. Hence why they only gave you +1 odds, or the Bills being +1 underdog. So the books, Vegas, is thinking that this game is about to be an absolute shootout. Keep on doing me a favor, folks. Spam Go Bills in the chat. We have quite a bit to discuss. And shout out to everybody in the chat making it happen. We have Brent coming in. My guy, Brent, what's going on? This game should be flexed the Sunday night spot. What was the NFL thinking making this an afternoon game? I honestly have no idea. From what I understand, I guess CBS just doesn't want to lose out on the revenue. I'm sure it probably crossed their path as a possibility. But, hey, you know what? A 4:30 game, it's going to be interesting. It's going to break records. I feel bad for the Colts game and the Broncos game at 4:25, which nobody and their mother is going to watch. Same thing with the Buccaneers and the Chargers. Same thing with the Patriots and the Cardinals. No one's going to be tuning into that unless, of course, they are rooting for that specific team. Shout out to Brent in the chat, man. Longtime supporter over here. Have met him several times at a lot of Roundtable Sports events. Always a beautiful, beautiful thing. Colin Miller is coming in saying, Dan, and do you think the Bills are going to sign Amari next year? Or will we not be able to consider the cap? So here's the question, or here's the answer, rather. So Amari Cooper has never been a free agent in his career. He has only been traded. He's been drafted. He's been traded twice. Well, actually, he's been traded twice. Yeah, that's right. From Raiders, Cowboys, Browns, Buffalo Bills. He's never been a free agent. So in my opinion, I think that he's going to go with the highest bidder. I don't think that Brandon Beane is going to be the highest bidder. I think Amari Cooper wants a bag for the first time in a long time. So I think it's going to be very difficult. However, I would welcome him back with open arms. Colin Miller's coming in. Great question. Nuclear Josh Allen Zilla is here. John Marlowe. You already know what it's going to be. You already know what it's going to be. And obviously, we are going to be unpacking everything that we know from the Detroit Lions, right? And this team, all right, has been a powerhouse, right? I'm not going to go on ahead and slight it by any stretch of the imagination. They have been blowing out teams that they should. They've been winning close games. They even won a game where Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions in one game by itself. It just goes to show you how well coached they are. Great culture over there. There's no question about that. However, the biggest narrative I think that we have been discussing for quite some time is how banged up these fools are, folks. How banged up these guys are currently. As you can see, we have a lot of these Lions players that are listed on the IR. Several of them are out for the entire season. As you can see, the estimated return designation after the Super Bowl. So let's count how many players specifically on their defense. Like there's 13 players on their defense that have been listed on the IR, right? You have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 players are currently on the IR. Some are designated to potentially return on December 15th, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be activated. These are just the players that have not been available for quite some time. Something to consider there. And then we have to look at all the players that are currently listed as questionable. All right. And the biggest thing that I want to point out for everybody looking at this overall game plan is when you look at the Detroit Lions lineup, okay, specifically on their defensive side of the ball, you have McNeil, you have Reeder, and you have Pascal. All right. Their interior defensive line, and then also one of their edge rushers. All three of these dudes, where it stands right now, have been listed as questionable. Okay. Josh Pascal, defensive end, has a knee injury. He's questionable for the 15th. We have the exact same thing for Alan McNeil, defensive tackle, a head injury. He is questionable. I'm assuming he'll probably be ready to go. And then DJ Reeder, defensive tackle, arm, shoulder, questionable, December 15th, potentially coming back. So when I look at this, their defensive line, they have literally been unable to get past a lot of these injuries, specifically when it comes into the front seven. Linebackers, defensive tackles, there has been a curse on the Detroit Lions defensive side of the football this year. Secondary, on the other hand, you have rookie Terrion Arnold, who has been doing, I would say, relatively well. I mean, he was very highly touted during the draft process. He's doing his thing. Carlton Davis. All right. We are familiar with Carlton Davis over here. All right. He was a lockdown over in Tampa Bay, has been doing relatively well for the Detroit Lions, making it happen. We have Brian Branch, who was drafted a couple of years ago. Okay. Something to consider here. He has been absolutely excellent. And then we also have Kirby Joseph. All right. Who is known, and as many people that I talk to, is known as a significantly dirty player, a very dirty player, according to quite a few of the other NFL YouTubers and podcasters that I talk to on a regular basis, right? We have Kirby Joseph right over here. I'm sorry for not giving you the visuals. This guy right here, known as a dirty player, right? Has been subject to several season-ending injuries, massive injuries, based off of the way that he plays football. So somehow this Lions team has been able to stay relatively healthy within their secondary. Okay, I'm going to go on ahead and put 2 tight end formation. See if we can see if they end up running any sort of nickel package, if you will. However, we have all of this right here. We're going to go switch over to defense real fast. Look at that. So we have all of this information right here. Banged up defensive line, banged up linebacking core, but relatively healthy secondary at the end of the day, right? So this defense is absolutely banged up to all hell. Something to consider. Now, some of us are probably going to look at this, and I want to go on ahead and point this out to everybody. We have the Detroit Lions defense, 18 points per game, right? That means that they are allowing the second least amount of points in the NFL throughout the season. All right. Dan Mitchell, how is that possible? This team is absolutely banged up to all hell. How are all of these numbers absolutely insane, right? Best at stopping third down, number one. Best at stopping, second best at stopping fourth down. Uh, so the Bills are number one when it comes into that. And then red zone scoring, very good red zone defense when it rolls into it as well. But we're thinking right now, and like we're just like, hey, you know what? How are these numbers in the top five, top three each and every single time, each and every single game that they have played so far? I want to go on ahead and pull up something for you guys. Okay. I want you to go on ahead and take a look at some of their opponents thus far. All right. Defense, remember, all right, they're second in points allowed all season. But I want to point out a couple of the opponents that they have been playing as of late. Green Bay ended up putting up 31. Okay. So we can go on ahead and put that up there. However, there have been games where they have held the Colts to 6 points. Who here is impressed with that? I feel like anybody could hold the Colts to 6 points. Something to put out there. Jaguars, 6 points. Something to put out there, folks. Let's see what else. We had the Packers at 14 this one time. Cowboys, 9 points. 20 points for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 13 for the Arizona Cardinals, 29 for the Seattle Seahawks, right? So when you look at all of these last couple of games, you can see this Jaguars game and then also this Indianapolis Colts game where they were ultimately ended up holding both of those squads to single-digit points. So could mean nothing, but it's something to really set your eyes on real fast and understand that this Detroit Lions defense, while their secondary is still somewhat healthy, their entire front seven is banged up to all hell. So now we need to start putting together a damn game plan on how exactly we want to attack this banged up defense. What are we going to do? How is this game going to really end up taking a step into the right direction for the Buffalo Bills to still be in the hunt for the 1 seed and end up making a statement to the entire NFL on Sunday? And I'm going to tell you one thing that I think that something particularly that Detroit tends to struggle with. And this is a number one key for the Buffalo Bills offense. Josh Allen goes nuclear. This Detroit Lions team struggles with running quarterbacks. They have for the past 2 years. They are letting up an absurd amount of rushing yards for QBs for the past 2 years by itself. Josh Allen needs to take advantage of a banged up front seven, second, third string linebackers, defensive tackles, and absolutely make a move. Stay away from Kirby Joseph, though, for the love of God. If Kirby Joseph goes out there and he tries to take out the knees of my quarterback, I'm going to fly up to Detroit myself, all right, and have a word, all right? We're going to have a conversation with these hands, if that is a conversation that needs to be had. But Josh Allen going nuclear, particularly on the ground, is going to be a key and something that I think that we could easily exploit the defense over in Detroit. I genuinely believe that that could be the case. Now, Josh Allen right there. I do like our matchups with Amari Cooper, especially if he's, hell, let's go on ahead and knock this out real fast, right? Let's look at matchups that I think that we should benefit from. Let's look at matchups that I think that we could potentially have a good look at, because the best thing that we can do here is this, all right? We have Terrion Arnold. I'm going to go on ahead and share my screen so you guys can get a good understanding of what I think this offense needs to do here. Okay, so I particularly love Amari Cooper against Terrion Arnold, who is a rookie CB, by the way. Absolutely love this. I love Shakir. I got to go on ahead and see if they have, what's the nickel at? You have Robertson right here. So Amik Robertson, a coverage grade of 52.4. So I absolutely love this from Khalil Shakir. 110%, zero questions. I love the Amari Cooper matchup against a rookie Terrion Arnold. I love Khalil Shakir against a slot corner and a nickel corner in Amik Robertson, who has a coverage grade of 52.4 against Khalil Shakir, our highest rated PFF wide receiver on the damn market. And then I also love Keon Coleman coming back against Carlton Davis. Although that I think this is going to be the matchup of the game, we're going to have to see how that plays out. And then Dalton Kincaid obviously is going to be taking care of some of these linebackers. We have Ezekiel Turner. His coverage grade is 66.6. whether or not that it's Dalton Kincaid and then Jack Campbell, who a lot of us were actually eyeing for the Buffalo Bills to potentially draft a couple of years ago. His coverage grade is at about 69.1. So we have favorable matchups right here, folks. We have favorable matchups, especially on the left side. Shakir, Cooper, in my opinion, should account for some solid days. And here's something else I want to throw out there. Chat, guess for me. Guess how many pass interference calls has this Detroit Lions secondary drawn this year so far? Guess. I'm going to spoil it for you. 17. This Detroit Lions secondary has drawn 17 pass interference calls. This team is very handsy. This team is known to hurt itself in that overall category. So, yes, when I look at this Keon Coleman, a rookie wide receiver, against, in my opinion, their best corner that they have on the roster, you're damn right. You're damn right I want you to target each and every single wide receiver on this squad. Don't stray away from anybody, because this team screws itself with pass interference calls. We make that happen. Shots downfield if we need to. Attack Terrion Arnold. Attack Robertson. Attack Carlton Davis if you have to. Same thing when it comes into the safeties. This team screws itself with pass interference calls. 17 on the damn year, number 1 in the NFL. So I think Josh Allen just needs to go out there and just run the football. All right? Attack some of these tight coverages that we are going to be seeing from the Lions at any given day. Things to think about. Number 1 team in the NFL for drawing pass interference penalties. And then also we have some very favorable matchups between a rookie corner and Amari Cooper, our best route runner on the NFL, on the Buffalo Bills. And we have Khalil Shakir, who in my opinion is right there with Amon-Ra St. Brown as far as grades so far. You have St. Brown 86.1, and you also have Shakir at 79.7. He is on the damn come up when it rolls into this. We have 193 of you in here already, folks. 120 of you are on YouTube. 73 of you are on X. Guys, do me a favor, all right? Let's push this like button up to 100. 100 thumbs up signs pushed. I know that we can get this done. Simply smash that for me. Helps propel it out to the YouTube algorithm. And subscribe to the channel as well. We want 40,000 subscribers by the end of the NFL regular season. I genuinely believe that we can do that. I am giving away a Gregory Rousseau signed jersey as well. If you want to be a part of my sign giveaways, all you need to do is be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, and you have to leave a comment on this video once the live stream is over. I'm going to select a random video. I'm going to select a random person to win this overall jersey. If there are any Lions fans in here, and by the way, Lions fans, please do me a favor and let yourself be known in the chat if you are currently watching, figuring out what we have to say about the Bills and also the Lions matchup. Let it be known. I have a giveaway for the Lions going on as well. If the Lions end up beating the Buffalo Bills, I am selecting a random user to give them an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey. If the Lions win, I am buying an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey, and I am selecting a random Lions fan to get that done. Bills fans, we are going to win that jersey regardless. So, wow. Go ahead and make that happen. And give me a Go Bills in the chat so far. So here's where I'm at. Like, we just ended up putting together a couple of keys for the Buffalo Bills to take care of the Detroit Lions as far as defensively is concerned, right? Number 1 key, Josh Allen run the football. This Detroit Lions team historically has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. Josh Allen, that is your superpower. You hop on in there and you make it happen. Run the damn football, Josh Allen, because they struggle with that. But stay away from Kirby Joseph. Kirby, don't you dare hurt my quarterback. Number 2, take advantage of the mismatches, particularly on the left side of the field. I love Amari Cooper against Terrion Arnold. I love Khalil Shakir. Against their slot corner in Robertson. I genuinely believe that we can get this done. These two need to be the most targeted. Don't be afraid to target Coleman against Carlton Davis. He's an absolute dog. He really is. But remember, this secondary over in Detroit has a significant issue in drawing pass interference calls. They have 17 on the season. We test that. we see if they're going to be overly aggressive. You know they're going to be overly aggressive, so let them hurt themselves, specifically in the pass game. That's key number one. That's key number two. Let's figure out one more key before we knock into it. And obviously, I need to give a giant shout out to whoever is throwing in some super chats. I definitely appreciate you guys. Dan, I certainly wouldn't be mad at Buffalo versus Detroit Super Bowl. The Dolphins will never win a playoff game, let alone a Super Bowl, until they change the front office. I will never support them again. I can't take it. Rob is hopping off of the Dolphins fan base. Rob, let me tell you what, my friend. If you want to become a Buffalo Bills fan, we will accept you with open arms, my friend. I'm just kidding. Don't give up on your team, my friend. Don't give up on your team, man. I grew up in the drought era of the Buffalo Bills. It was painful, but when we finally ended up deciding to get things and we turned things around, it felt really good. So hopefully your Dolphins team can turn things around sooner rather than later, but only after the Buffalo Bills win 2 Super Bowls. That is when I will allow and I will welcome the Dolphins being competitive, is after, of course, the Buffalo Bills take home that Super Bowl trophy in 2024. If the defense does well, Josh is buying drinks at the Windsor Ballet. Craig, come on, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat rocking with me right now. Let's say, Dan, I have something to show you. Can I send you a DM on X, the Flexican? Absolutely, man. Send me over a DM over there. I have no doubt that the offense will move the ball up and down the field. I just need the defense to step up and help give this team a chance to win. The defense owes Josh. Hell, they owe themselves. I'm sorry for eating peanuts on the stream. I'm starving. But yes, I agree with you. And we are obviously going to be unpacking a little bit more on this team. And one more thing I would like to show you guys of figuring out a solid offensive game plan. And then obviously where I know everyone is tuning into, because we want to understand how is this defense going to. And so I wouldn't even say stop the Detroit Lions offense. Let's be honest with ourselves. No team in the NFL, no defense in the NFL can fully stop the Lions offense. However, you can certainly mitigate it. How do we get this done? Stay tuned, because we're about to be unpacking this overall Buffalo Bills defensive game plan against the Lions here shortly, after we check out one more thing about this Detroit Lions defense of what we need to exploit. So right now I'm on team rankings, and I want to take a look at exactly what we've been talking about. Rushing statistics. So far, this team is allowing 4.3 yards per carry. Rushes per game are at 21.6. They are number one in the league, meaning teams are not running the football very often against this team. Why do you think that most teams are not running the football against the Detroit Lions? I'm going to lead you there. It's because they are blowing teams out, and teams have no option but to throw the football against this squad. It's not because their run defense is absolutely locked down. In fact, how I would go on ahead and categorize this Detroit Lions run defense has to do with this statistic right here. And that just so happens to be 4.3 yards per carry, more middle of the road, if you will. Rush yards per game, top 5, only at 93.9. But again, folks, these teams can't run the football against the Detroit Lions because they are blowing them out very early, and they have to revert over to the pass game. And then rushing touchdowns, 0.9, number 13 when it comes into it. So my idea is that I look at this very battered, very, very battered defensive line. James Cook, Ray Davis, pass game right off the side of that, make them miss, make them cause penalties. That's what we're looking at. So keys in the game. Number 1, Josh Allen run the football. This Lions team struggles against mobile quarterbacks. No question there. Number 2, take advantage of the mismatches. And that's Amari Cooper against Terrion Arnold. That is Shakir against Robertson. And that is also Kincaid against their linebackers, who are solid in run defense, but not so much in pass coverage. Kincaid, Dawson Knox, 2 tight end sets if absolutely necessary. Jumbo packages. Let's make this work. Let's make this work. Okay? Because now we are going to be going up against a defensive line that is battered and bruised. And we also have an offensive line that did not release a single sack last week, folks. Listen, it is hard for us to celebrate what happened to this team last week because it ultimately ended up as an L. All right. This Rams team ended up beating us. But one thing which is good, and this is not a moral victory, it's something that I'm taking from my observations last week into this week. The Rams pass rush is much better than the Detroit Lions pass rush, where it stands right now. With all of the injuries factored in, the Rams pass rush is leaps and bounds better than Detroit's. Leaps and bounds. And last week, we didn't give up a single sack. Not a single one. So Josh Allen, theoretically, should have all day behind that line. All day. Absolutely all day. We shall see. What's going to happen here? What's going to happen here, folks? All right. Let me see. 38-31, Bills, baby. Glenn is saying, here's the key to the game is time of possession. Bills control the time of possession. They win. If they don't, they lose. 3 losses for the Bills, and the other team dominated time of possession. That is also a solid key right there, Glenn. I appreciate that. Devontae Mott, play like Chiefs against the Lions. Michael Davey is saying, go Bills, Michael Davey. What is going on, bro? Kincaid and Coleman are finally healthy and rested enough to play. I am going to assume that he's going to be ready to go. We have a Lions fan in here. Pugsley, what up, dude? Welcome, man. We do have a defensive players coming back for the Bills game. Go Lions. I'm sure you guys are super excited about that, man. I'm sure you guys are super excited about that. We are looking forward to this game. We are certainly looking forward to this game. And in case you guys don't understand how close this is going to be, everyone's like, oh my God, it's the Bills offense versus the Detroit. All right, listen, here's the deal. I respect the Lions. I always have. All right. But all of Bills Mafia is sitting here being like, oh my God, that Detroit Lions offense, what are we going to do? I promise you that Detroit Lions fans are also thinking, oh my God, that Buffalo Bills offense. Look at this, folks. Detroit, 32.1 points per game. Buffalo, 30.5 points per game. The number 1 and the number 2 offense are set for a shootout on Sunday. So rest be assured. Rest be assured. Bills fans are obviously very nervous about the Lions offense. But I can almost promise you that Lions fans are equally as nervous about the Buffalo Bills offense. It's just how it is. Both teams are actually very similar right now, right? We are coming off of a game where we lit up 44 points. They are coming off of a couple of games where they realize that 14 of their players are on the IR defensively, particularly in their front 7. So they're here. They are here. O'Neal Swanson with a $2 donation. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. All right, so here's the question. We've already considered about their defense. So like I was saying, with Josh Allen has to run the football. With this Lions team has struggled against mobile quarterbacks. Just stay away from Kirby Joseph. Kirby, please do not hurt my quarterback. That's all I'm asking. Number 2, take advantage of the mismatches of Amari Cooper and Terrion Arnold, Shakir and Robertson at the slot position. And don't be afraid to test Davis. He draws a lot of pass interference calls. So go on ahead and knock that out. Let them hurt themselves because they've had 17 all season. And then number 3, don't be afraid. Well, actually, shout out to Glenn because he actually gave this to me as well. Dominate time of possession. There's many times where I would say, you know what? I love this team. I want us to defer. Fuck no. If we win the coin toss, we get the ball first. In fact, let me know how y'all feel about that. In fact, this is what I want to say. I think this Buffalo Bills team plays a hell of a lot better with a lead than we do from behind. If we win the coin toss, we get the ball first. Perfect football is what we need. We get the damn ball first. Who knows? We have Jack who's coming in saying, any update on Rasul? Nothing as of right now, bro. Nothing as of right now. But now it's time, folks, for this dastardly Detroit Lions offense. How the hell are we going to stop these guys? Let me see. Interesting fact. The Lions haven't beaten the Bills since 2006 and are 4-7-1 all-time record against the Buffalo Bills. Very interesting. Lions are going to bang us, keep it real. And so our defense effing sucks balls. It's the time of the year McDermott plays soft. So listen, Kelly, I love you. And so you know that you're my boy, right? But since you're my boy, I'm going to talk to you like I talk to all of my boys. All right? Calm the fuck down. All right? Calm the fuck down. This is how you have to look at Sean McDermott. Number one, when you say that this is the time of the year where he typically starts to like fizzle, absolutely not. His record's like 12-2 in December for the past 5 years. It's absolutely not. So that's just absolute false. It's absolutely false, right? Number two, in Sean McDermott's entire career, he has not gone 2 games in a row where his defense has ended up letting up more than 30 points 2 games in a row. And the last time that he did it was in 2020, and we ended up winning one of those games. So if this defense and Sean McDermott has proven anything to you, yes, there's certain games where we have an absolute stinker that happens, but we have one of the best adjusting head coaches, defensive head coaches in the NFL. I have a feeling that this defense is about to be looking a hell of a lot better than we did last Sunday. Not that it's a very high bar, but I promise you we will see some improvements. I promise you that we will, at the best possible option, be able to generate turnovers. Because one thing that we need to understand is that this Buffalo Bills team was averaging close to 2 turnovers per game all season. Last week, we didn't have a single one. I think that changes. I genuinely believe that changes next week. We will generate a turnover, maybe even 2. That's the key to the fucking game. That's actually a great thing right there. But anyway, we'll move on. Pugsley Parr is coming in saying Detroit 59, Buffalo 58 final. That would be an absolute heart attack. Once again, holy hell. I believe we're still going to get the 1 seed. Kansas City could lose the next 4 games. If you look at the teams, they all play hard. Even the Browns. Dom, listen, I hope so, bro. I hope so. But, I mean, I'll be completely honest with you, dude. I have zero faith. I have zero faith that we get the 1 seed. It's the 2nd seed I've been eyeing for a little bit. But anyway, like we said, let's go ahead and take a look at this Detroit Lions offensive statistics. No questions here. We already know what this overall personnel is, right? You have David Montgomery, who's an absolute bowling ball of a running back. He's a stud. He gets yards at will. And then obviously Gibbs, who is more of the faster sort of running back that's going to be a threat on the outside that can get to the edge, absolutely burn you in overall pass plays. Solid running back duo, if I say so myself. Amon-Ra St. Brown, stud. Tim Patrick has revived his career in Detroit after being injured for 2 years in a row. Jamison Williams, J-Mo, speedster on the outside. Everyone forgets that he was drafted in the 1st round. This is actually his first full year where he is actually a contributor to the offense. Scary as hell. Semi-decent offensive line. This offense moves. They make plays. Goff goes completely off. Wow, look at that. I'm a regular Dr. Seuss right now, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, moving on. 32 points per game, number 1 in the league. Yards per game, 394.8. I'm actually interested to see where the Bills are. Hold on. Team stats. Absolutely insane. 394.8, number 2 in the league. Points per play, number 2, 0.496. Solid EPA. Yards per play, 6.1. 3rd down conversions, number 4. 4th down conversions, number 6 in the NFL. Surprisingly enough, this Buffalo Bills team is number 1 in 4th down conversions. Take some notes, Dan Campbell. We can teach you a thing or two. I'm just kidding. But anyway, rushing statistics. Number 5 in rush play. 4.6 yards per carry at number 8. Run the ball a hell of a lot. Number 3. They run the ball. They were a run the damn ball sort of team. 151.1, number 4. Rush touchdowns close to 2 at top 4. Passing stats. Completion percentage 72, but they don't throw the ball too often, surprisingly enough. 28th in the league for overall pass play percentage, pass attempts, yards per pass, 8.5, passes per game, 30.2, Pass yards per game, 243.8. INT, number 20. QB sack, number 11. Field goal conversion, they don't miss. All right? Bates, their kicker, was selling bricks in Houston a couple of months ago. Now he's a star. And no, not bricks like Rick Ross bricks, actual bricks. He was a brick salesman, and they pulled him off of the couch, and he's been automatic for this team. Best field goal, best kicker in the NFL statistically, where we're at right now. Same thing with turnovers, 7. Top 8. And INT's thrown right there. Penalties. Something to look at. 6.2 penalties per game. Yards per game, 30th, so not too bad. And penalty yards, 9.7. Last in the league. So probably a lot of ticky-tacky stuff is what they're being called for. Like no more than like a 5-yarder when it comes into it. But now we have to take a look at advanced statistic. We have Pugsley Pars coming in. Sonic and Knuckles are going to run all over Buffalo's defense. Sam Laporta will show you why he's the best tight end in the NFL. We have Pugsley coming in. Hey, man. All right. So here's actually like a good sign, right? So a lot of Bills fans probably won't agree with me on this take, but I'm going to stand on business. And then once we see it come to fruition on Sunday and I turn out to be correct, that was the correct game plan, y'all are going to be like, holy shit, Dan knows ball. Last week, we focused exclusively on stopping the run. We never changed. We did not focus on anything else. That's why Matthew Stafford was able to carve us up. Because you want to know why we did that, ladies and gentlemen? Because we recognize that unless we completely dedicate ourselves to stopping the run, like we completely dedicated ourselves to stopping the run, we are going to get gashed. And time of possession is very important for this game. So this is my overall game plan. This Buffalo Bills team runs the exact same plan that we did against the LA Rams. We completely commit to stopping the run. We did it last week by holding Kieran Williams to 3 yards per carry. He rushed the ball 29 times. We have to show Detroit that if they want to beat us, they're going to have to go on ahead and throw the football. And I understand that Matthew Stafford completely carved us up last week, but we are talking about a quarterback that is number 1 against zone coverage. Out of every single interception that Jared Goff threw this year, it has been against zone coverage. So make no mistake, what we saw last week with how Matthew Stafford was really just scoring and passing at will was based off of his success at passing against zone coverage. We wanted to rely on the fact that we are a team that takes the ball away at least 2 times per game. It didn't happen last week. That's what we were hoping could happen. However, I think that works against the Detroit Lions. I think that we run a lot of cover 1. I think we stack the box as much as humanly possible. And we commit to holding Sonic and Knuckles to average 3.2 yards per carry. Show them that they can't get it done that way. Force Jared Goff to literally just go full on into the pass attack, which we have done. Any game that this Buffalo Bills team has genuinely committed themselves to stopping running the football, we have been able to do it. We have been able to do it. But we have to get those turnovers. We have to get those turnovers. It's a roll of the dice. Like we can just say, oh, no. Like we need to like make sure that Amon-Ra St. Brown is covered. Like we have to make sure that Tim Patrick is ready to go. We have to make sure that Taron Johnson is good, is ready to go from there. We commit to the run. We commit to the run, just like we did last week. Don't mistake the best quarterback in the NFL's success against zone coverage. Matthew Stafford's the best QB in the NFL against zone. Don't think that's going to be something that needs to happen every single week. Don't think we're going to be facing a quarterback that is that dominant against zone schemes as Matthew Stafford. It's just not the case. Goff is still good, but he's not Matthew Stafford good. We can take the ball away from him. And that's what we have to do. That is absolutely number 1. Now what I want to do. I have been on a fucking rampage on this stream, baby. I have been on a rampage this week. I want to look at the advanced statistics from Jared Goff. As many of us know, this team is not throwing the football a lot, folks. They are not. In fact, they are running the football and taking the most advantage of all the pass plays that they can. They are, without a doubt, a run-first sort of team. Man, so Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown and their run game will decimate our linebackers and defensive line. We have Devontae Mott. Shows the Lions that only way that they're going to win against us is by going head-to-head with Josh Allen. Yeah, dude, listen. Commit to the run. Commit to the run. And allow our linebackers and DBs to do their job. If you think that our DBs and linebackers, we're not torn a new asshole on the plane back from LA the other day, I think you're absolutely nuts. And I think you're underestimating how Sean McDermott can really rally this team after a bad performance. We have Glenn. No, but so the people are looking for a running back MVP, specifically since running back has been devalued. We have Living Black Irish. Go with the same defense against the winning games. And with any thoughts if Hyde is calling it in? No, man. So I feel like last week's game plan was the right game plan. It was. But we just didn't. So last week's game plan was the best game plan. We just didn't execute on what needed to be executed on in order for it to succeed. And we needed a couple of turnovers, right? And hey, listen, last week, people were mad about the game plan last week, but so to be honest with you, so the Buffalo Bills offense put up more points than the LA Rams offense. So their special teams was the one that ended up really making that game-winning touchdown was their special teams. So overall, that was the right game plan going into it. But anyway, let's go ahead and check out Jared Goff. Come on, Jared Goof. I'm kidding. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look here. All right. We have Jared Goff, and let's take a look at what he has been going through so far. All right. His completion percentage is at 72.4%. He is doing it great, but like I said, this team doesn't throw the ball a lot, all right? They are currently running, just to remind everybody, passing statistics, only running pass plays 49.7% of the time. They do not pass the football. They are a team that predominantly runs the football, as you can see. Top 5 in the league for rush plays at 50. So Jared Goff, while his stats are absolutely incredible, I'm not taking that away from him. He's taking advantage of all of the opportunities that he is presented with. Not a lot of attempts on his end. And so I have a dual auto mini Bills helmet, Poyer and Hyde. If Buffalo beats Detroit, you can have it. That's how confident I am in my Lions. Pugsley Parr, I absolutely love it. I actually did something with your Lions fans as well. I said that if the Lions are able to win, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy an Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey, and I'm going to select a random Lions fan from my comment section and give it to him. That's how confident I am as well. But the Hyde and Poyer one does sound interesting. Let's do that. That's what I'm talking about. Go Bills. This game will determine my confidence level of going to the Super Bowl. So remember, defense wins championships, and our D-line is a big issue. We have had a big issue with our D-line for a long time, dude. A lot. But anyway, Jared Goff, some things I like to be able to take a look at real fast. 72.4% completion percentage, 3,265 yards, 8.6 yards per attempt, touchdowns 25. He has 10 interceptions on the season, okay? He had 5 interceptions against Houston week 10, and then went 3 weeks in a row against Jacksonville, Indy, and Chicago with 0 picks. But let's not pretend that these teams are known as ball hawking defenses. 1 interception against Green Bay. Okay, so for the most part, he does take care of the football. He had 5 against Houston, obviously. We absolutely need to take the football away. We need to generate turnovers. It's just how it is. Big time throws, only 10. Big time throws, only 10 so far this season. His average depth of target is at 7.2. Now, here's what we have to understand. This team runs the football. Top 5 in the league. They are the most running football team in the NFL. Top 5 at least. He's getting a lot of these opportunities because teams are absolutely exhausted with attempting to stop the run. All right? It's a lot of bend but not break. He is basically playing football that makes the defense bend but not break. That's essentially what we're looking at. Average depth of target, 7.2. He has 14 turnover-worthy plays, 3.2 percentage. So he's taking care of the football with all that he can. His adjusted percentage is 79.5, and these receivers are catching the football, folks. Only 4 drops on the season. Take with that information as you will. But this Detroit Lions team is taking care of the football. And last but not least, folks, time to throw, 2.66 seconds. 2.66 seconds. That's what we are looking at. His worst game was against the Indianapolis Colts at 2.85. Jacksonville at 2.7. 2.6, that's what we're looking at. So the biggest things I wanted to take a look at with penalties, he has absolutely 2. So let's move on to what else we need to understand. What about his passing concept, huh? What does he like to run, folks? Where is he right now? Play action, 74% completion percentage. No play action, 71.4. Screens, 95.9, 69. He's just a good quarterback. There's no weaknesses. He can hurt you in play action, and he can hurt you in non-play action. This team runs a lot of play action. Makes sense. Any team that runs the football as often as Jared Goff, as the Detroit Lions, is going to be absolutely deadly in play action. It's just how it is. But now we go with this. Pressure. What is Jared Goff like under pressure, ladies and gentlemen? Let's take a look. 79% of his passes are complete when he is kept clean. Under pressure, 55.2. Not blitz, 74.3. When blitz, 68.8. Now what I want to see is how many times he's been sacked. He has been sacked 23 times, folks. 23 times, all while he was under pressure. Blitzed only 6 times. So I'm assuming that taking guys out of coverage probably wouldn't be a solid idea for this guy. And how many times has he been pressured so far this year, folks? 135 times. Key, organic pressure. Blitzed only 139 times. And he's completing 68.8% of his passes. So what is all of this telling you? All right? I think it's pretty clear at this point of what we're taking a look at. That's Jared Goff right there. Jared Goff. By team, let's go back to the Lions real fast, huh? All right. So make Goof hold the ball then. Yeah. But that would also require that we have our DBs make solid coverage. With Jamison Williams is going to be a challenge for us. He's fast as hell, right? In fact, let's go ahead and do this. Lineup. Defense. Team. Let's get to Buffalo real fast. We're going to go offense. All right. So we're going to have Williams. We have J-Mo is going to be going up against Rasul Douglas, who did not have a very good game last week, right? Like Puka Nacua was having his way with him yesterday. We have Christian Benford against Tim Patrick, who I definitely like that matchup. I'm not going to lie to you. We have Sam Laporta, who's going to be ideally going up against Milano and then also Bernard. I don't see Williams being out there, but I think Milano is due for a quality matchup. And then with Taron Johnson is going to be on Amon-Ra St. Brown. So we got to get pressure, right? And so we got to make sure that Rasul Douglas He's 6'1", 189, and Rasul Douglas is 6'2", 209. So he has the physical advantage against JMO. Just be physical with him. Just make sure it's difficult for him to get off of the line. And then with Tim Patrick, he's 6'4". Benford's only 6'1", 205. So that might be a size disadvantage, but he's going to have to do what he can do. And then Sam Laporta, obviously, he's doing his thing at 6'3". Have to rely right now on some of our linebackers to make it happen. I love calling Jared Goff Jared Goof. It is kind of funny. I'm not going to lie. Marcus Warren is coming in. I hope our defense got that stinker out of the way, and hopefully it's our last time putting that effort out there. And that would be ideal. D-line is a problem. We can't act like they aren't holding us back. It will be the biggest factor this week. We have no bones about it. I love calling him Goof. Block punt and our defense not showing up got us beat. Not Josh Allen's so-called hero ball. Josh Arnold. St. Brown is going to cook. We have Puka and Kupp both make some circus catches, and the coverage was there. Some catches can't be defended. We have buy stocks. Rams could never duplicate that game. No, they could not. All right. So I'm noticing a lot of people are nervous, and I feel the energy so far in the chat, just being like, oh my God, like St. Brown's going to cook, like J-Mo's going to cook, like Tim Patrick's going to cook, Sonic and Knuckles are going to cook. Folks, in case I haven't reminded you, and I'm going to remind you again, hold up. Look at that. We have the number 1 and number 2 offense facing off against each other. Both defenses. And listen, we're mad at our defense, right? But I would much rather be healthy and mad at my defense for having an anomaly performance against the LA Rams than having my defense have 15 players on IR and have no chance whatsoever. This Buffalo Bills team is going to score more than 35 points. You heard it here first. And I'm not necessarily saying that the Lions won't do it. But what I am saying is that this team can generate turnovers. This team can get it done. We were quite literally going out there and averaging 2 turnovers per game, and we go 1 week without one, and everyone thinks that that's our identity now. Absolutely not. That's what we call an anomaly. I have a feeling this Bills team makes a turnover, and we just need people to step up. All right, I'm seeing somebody say that Rasul didn't practice today. Oh, shit.
Seems to work best for your defense.
Overall, I think there's multiple things probably that led to that result, not just what they do. It's some of what we did or didn't do. You go back and reteach the fundamentals, reteach the standards, reteach the vision for what it's supposed to look like. And that's together, coaches and players. It's not just the players, it's us as coaches and, being a connected unit in that regard.
I think they put up a lot of sacks this year. What impresses you about their offensive line and how they protect Goff?
They do a great job, in particular in the play action game and screen game, and they do a great job protecting him in those.
Shit ton of screens.
Rasul dealing with the injury, could it potentially be an opportunity for Kyer? And a little bit more on him. What's gone into the decision to kind of keep him down the last couple of weeks?
Everything's earned, so that's part of every decision.
Oh,
big
shit!
Part of every decision, and most of the reason for every decision, really, in terms of who's inactive. And
so that means that he's fucking terrible.
Everything's earned, and
no, JW, I'm hungry.
As we move forward this week, no different. So we'll see where it goes.
So it's been about Kyer not earning the right to be active.
Well, maybe some other players have earned it more. So sometimes it's highly competitive. So he's been up sometimes, and other times he hasn't.
Sean, is it ribs for KC? I know that was the injury.
Yes.
Thank you.
In that same especially he came in briefly for Rasul.
Yeah.
But like, what have you seen from him?
Well, you saw some of the production early. I think, the pick six he had and just getting his hands on the ball and making a play. And I think it was the Arizona game to help us seal the game there. And he's physical in the run game. And he's like all of us, got things to work on as well.
Are you looking at Marcus as the guy who would step in for Rasul if he can't come?
We'll see. We'll see.
John, after the couple of losses, you made a point to point out that you lost the battle up front. How do you win the battle up front against Detroit?
Well, it's tough. They're a really good team. They do a great job along the line of scrimmage, and I know that's where some of the questions are coming around. And look, we've got to get better. We've got to perform better, and that starts in practice today. And it is a mentality. It is an attitude. And if you want to play good defense, that's where it starts. If you want to be able to run the ball on offense, and we've been able to do that, and we've been able to stop the run at times, and it's got to be more consistent. And so there's not a whole lot of shortcuts or ways around it. It's got to be a mentality for us first and foremost that we carry through the rest of the season here for us.
Sean, coming off a game like that, I think that the natural inclination would be there'd be some fire, especially the defensive guys, some motivation to do better. How much do you encourage that in light of the fact that general philosophy for you has been trust the routine, trust the process?
That's trust the routine and trust the process is certainly one approach, and certainly what I subscribe to. But within that is you better bring your heart, you better bring your guts, you better put it on the line, you better give max effort, you better put it on the line. And so that's never been two separate thought processes. The process is the process. It's the approach and the preparation. And then the mindset has always been the mindset of this is football. And you got to bring it every day, every week. And our players know that. We certainly have to improve in some areas. And that's one of them in terms of the line of scrimmage.
How much was this a good reminder? You don't want to come off any loss, but how much was this a good reminder, especially where you are in the season and looking ahead to January?
Yeah, in a previous location, I think it was 14-0, and we took a loss late in the year, and then we came back stronger. I don't think, that being said, I don't think every situation is the same, and I don't think you can look at any situation and say, hey, we'll be fine. That's not my personality, right? There's a certain amount of reflection that has to go into why we got the result we got, and what are we going to do to learn from it. You got to make sure you don't overcorrect as well. So we need to make sure that we learn from it and reflect in the areas that we need to reflect on and make those adjustments as we move forward. That's part of the journey of a season. And sometimes you pick up some scars that you have to carry forward with you, and they actually make you stronger, whether individually or collectively as a team.
Along those lines, you said after the game that you felt like the team lacked urgency. What do you trace that back to?
I think just overall, I've seen him consistently this year, been very urgent. I think there's potentially things that factor into that, whether it's coming off of the couple games that we had come off of, and perhaps maybe losing just a little bit of the urgency, like I said, and we were going into a situation where that team was hungry too, and in search of a playoff bid, and so which we were in that similar situation last year. So it's all if we handle it the right way, it's all a good reminder for us of how competitive this dang league is week to week. And a lot of teams take a lot of scars on their way to having a darn good season, and we're having a darn good season. So what has to be in front of us this week is the opportunity that's in front of us, and quite frankly, the challenge that's in front of us going against a 12-1 team, and at their place, it's going to be a heck of an environment.
Was there any update on some of the injured reserve guys who might be able to practice soon?
Yeah, so Balin will open his window and Smoot as well today, and then
Nice.
Tylen will be in his third week of that window.
Sean, you and Dan kind of seem like Dan Campbell, that is, you're kind of cut from the same cloth, so to speak, a little bit, where you try to build a team and your culture, your relationship with him, and what do you make from what he's done there from afar?
Yeah, a ton of respect for Coach. I don't really know him honestly that well, like I know some of the other coaches, but from afar, certainly respect how he's doing things over there, and I think there's probably no two situations are the same, but the way he's gone in there and done some good things, I think holistically, there's some similarities maybe.
What have you seen in the way Goff handles that offense and what he's able to do?
Yeah, I mean he's in sync. I mean he's in sync with their coordinator, and they do a great job. And just very creative in how they scheme things up. And it just and a credit to Dan and Coach Johnson and the way that they've gotten and developed the players that they've gotten over the years. Jared being one of them.
When you mentioned not wanting to overcorrect on things, even as you assess what went wrong, how do you do that? Like, how do you make sure you don't overcorrect?
Well, again, you reflect the necessary amount, but you also know what you believe in and what's been working, and you target the areas that you feel need to be corrected, and you handle those with good, truthful conversations, and then you go to work. Again. That's what we got to do. All right. Thanks, guys.
Sean McDermott, ladies and gentlemen. Sean McDermott obviously getting pelted with a bunch of questions as far as that plays out. Let's see exactly what we need to find out. Shout out to all the beat reporters that put this out on Twitter so we could actually read it and understand. But like we just said, Spectre, Dwayne Smoot, as we just heard from Sean McDermott, their 21-day practice windows have been open. Thank God Smoot is coming back because we need some fucking pass rush, which is ideal. All right, we heard that Rasul Douglas, Rapp, will not practice, and Coleman is full participant for the Buffalo Bills. Granted, it's a walkthrough, folks. As a reminder, this is shorts and a T-shirt. All right, so not a lot of stuff going through with that. And then Elam probably won't play. And McDermott said, we'll see when asked if Jamarcus Ingram would be Douglas's replacement if he can play. It's either going to be Ingram or it is either going to be, who knows? And then Rapp, who knows, man? Maybe it's Hyde that's elevated. We're going to have to figure it out. We have Don is coming in saying Bills are good, yes, but not as good, not good as the Ravens. What's the, so what's the scoreboard say though? So what's the Ravens record? What's the Buffalo Bills record? I think that's the question. And so if the Buffalo Bills lost to a team that's only had 2 wins all season, and so if the Buffalo Bills lost to the Raiders and the Browns that have like 2 and 3 wins, like, come on, that's just silly. That's absolutely silly, my friend. But stats don't tell all to say everything. If you think that, then you are delusional. Wow. All right, dude. So things are starting to heat up in the chat. All right, guys. Just a reminder. I might be live a little later tonight. I have a doctor's appointment at 4 p.m. EST, so I'm not sure what time I will be back. I will for sure be ready for the AFC East Roundtable this evening. Do me a favor, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. As a reminder, Bills Mafia, I'm giving away that signed Gregory Rousseau jersey. If you want to be a part of my giveaways, you have to be a subscriber to this YouTube channel. And you also need to leave a comment on this video once it is over. Reminder, I am announcing the winner during my live game reaction and make it happen. So I hope everything is okay. Oh, yeah, man. I'm good. I'm good, baby. And just getting some stitches out, man. Just getting some stitches out, baby. We're all good. It's nothing. It's nothing too crazy. But yeah, guys, listen, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Obviously, we want 40,000 subscribers by the end of the regular season. I think my live game reaction next week is going to be absolutely nuts. Can't wait to welcome each and every single one of you in. Love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will be back hopefully later this afternoon. Shout out to BetUS for powering this video. Deuces.